was a kid. But the same principle is there. There was a man who he had struggles in his life, lots of struggles. And it wasn't, every time he would struggle, he would rely on the Lord. But what ended up happening is at the end of his life, he passed. And he came before Jesus, because that's what the Christian sadhana is, they focus on Jesus and then, hey Rishabh, Hare Krishna. They focus on Jesus and then in the end they go and attain Jesus and then they're with Jesus to get Jesus' mercy. So, oh, my friend in the back, Maroon, what is your name?
Hamza. He's my friend.
Hamza, like the swan.
No, this is... in Arabic it's different.
Oh, no problem. Well, very good. It means something very pure to me and you and everyone, hopefully. So thanks for joining. So Jesus, he had... is that Shweta, I see? Yes. Hare Krishna, Shweta. And Brajesh must be with you. Where's the other Brajesh? Where's... So, okay, good. So Jesus, he goes to Jesus and he said, "My Lord," and he had a recount of his whole life. And Jesus was telling him that I've been with you your whole life. And he says, "My Lord, I'm looking back and I see that we were walking on this journey together and both of our footsteps were there. But when all of the hard and most difficult parts of my life came, there was only one set of footsteps." And he said, "Why did you abandon me at that time? Why did you abandon me at that time?" Does anyone sometimes feel that when things are so hard in your life, you may feel, well, why has the Lord abandoned me at this time? Am I the only one? No, everyone. So he asked Jesus this. He was very good. He went to Jesus, so he did but still he was troubled. And Jesus said, "My son, during that time, you couldn't walk anymore, so I picked you up and carried you. So that's why there's only one set of footsteps." And so that will be the theme of today's verse. If you go to 922, and then you will get the message. All right. I will put it on the screen here, so for people who wants to see it. Here we go. Can you all see? Everyone thank Ben for being able to see. This is a great contribution. Ananyas chinte... sorry. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Jai. Where are my ashram boys? I want them. I carefully crafted this class just for you guys. Yes. Yesh, come. Get really comfortable next to Shiva Das. I'm serious. And Tanmay too. Where are you? He's not coming.
He's coming.
You better be coming. So, Ananyas Chintayanto Mam Ye Jana Payupasate Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam Yogakshimam Vahamyaham. Very good. Anyone else want to give it a go? Peter, why don't you give it a try?
Ananyas Chitanyatam Nam
Ananyas Chintayanto Mam
Yejana Paripushatate
Yejana Paripasate
Tesham Nitya Bhuktanam
Tesham Nityabhiyuktanam
Yoga Keshanam Vahamiyaham.
Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. Very good, especially because I put you right on the spot there.
My apologies.
Okay, Adya.
Ananyas Chintayanto Mam
Ananyas Chintayanto Mam
Ye Jana
Ye jana parupasate. Tesham nityabhiyuktanam. Yogakshemam bahamyaham. Maybe one more? Anybody? Who's the most ambitious here? Be careful or someone else is going to have Peter's fate. Alright, Rishabh, you're the one.
Ananyas chintayanto mam.
Ananyas chintayanto mam.
Ye jana paryupasate.
Ye jana parupasate.
Kesha nityabhiyuktana.
Tesham nityabhiyuktanam.
Yogakshemam vahamyaham.
Yogakshemam bahamyaham. Very good. Ananyas, Chinta, Ananya, no other. Chintayanta, concentrating. Mam, unto me, yea, who, janaha, persons. Paryupasate, properly worship. Tesham, there. Nitya, always. Abhiyuktanam, fixed in devotion. Yogakshemam, requirements. Bahami, carry. Aham, I. Translation: but those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. But those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. Now, the purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki. One who is unable to live for a moment without Krishna consciousness cannot but think of Krishna 24 hours, being engaged in devotional service. By hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping, serving the lotus feet of the Lord, rendering other services, cultivating friendship, and surrendering fully to the Lord. Does anyone know what he just listed, all those things? Does anyone know what they are? Yes. These, and what are those? Yes, these are the 9 processes of bhakti as given by who? Prahlad Maharaj. He's a little fellow right there, next to Nrsimha. He is giving the 9 processes of bhakti in the Srimad Bhagavatam. It's Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu, Smaranam Padasevanam, Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. So these are the 9 main processes of bhakti. Beginning with what? Shravanam. So hearing, listening. So often we want to skip to speaking. I want to speak. If you have not done enough hearing, the speaking will be useless. So the hearing has to come first. You cannot speak anything properly without first hearing it and assimilating it. So the first process of bhakti is what? Shravanam. Yes, so this is why we have Harikatha. This is so important. If you don't have any Harikatha in your life, it will be very bad. Then you actually really can't practice bhakti. Unless there's some Harikatha happening in your life, the bhakti, and even if you do want to practice the bhakti, let's say, all you want to do is chant the Mahamantra, which is very good. That's a very, very good activity to do. But the deeper realizations of the Mahamantra may remain locked up to you unless you hear deeper, more about Krishna. So like as we were singing about the pastimes of Vrindavan today, yes, were we not? So unless we actually hear those pastimes of Vrindavan and understand Krishna's revelations in those pastimes, when we say the word Krishna, it may mean something completely different than if we've only heard of Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita or Krishna in the Mahabharata. So like this is why it's so important to fully immerse yourself in the what does it say here? The transcendental form, but also the name, the fame, the pastimes, all the glories of the Lord. You should try to immerse yourself in so that you may actually understand the deeper layers that the Lord is willing to reveal. So that's why we read so much, and we emphasize you guys, if you don't have books, get some books. Some books are necessary. In order to do bhajan on a deeper level, you have to first come across, Krishna does this. So today I'm actually going to tell a pastime about this verse, because people like stories and pastimes and leelas, and so does Krishna actually. So, and I just came across it, so I was very happy. So anyway, these 9 processes of bhakti, ending with surrendering fully to the Lord, such activities are all auspicious and full of spiritual potencies. So they're all blessed and they're filled with spiritual power when you do them. Indeed, they make the devotee perfect in self-realization. Then his only desire is to achieve the association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is called yoga. By the mercy of the Lord, such a devotee never comes back to the material condition of life. Kshema, with a K, Kshema, refers to the merciful protection of the Lord. The Lord helps the devotee to achieve Krishna consciousness by yoga, and when he becomes fully Krishna conscious, the Lord protects him from falling down to a miserable, conditioned life. So before we continue, maybe Meghna is a little more mobile. I don't have my wife do it. Just maybe you could give the Mangala Charana prayers. It's in the, I'll probably find it quicker. Maybe you can just scroll. So if you want, chant along with us. You just control it.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachaye Nirvishesha Ashtatya Deshatarine.
Alright, so back to the verse at hand. Oh, that's not good, huh? Did I break it? I must have. That's okay. I mean,
Michael, can you know how we did this before, right? The TV blacked out.
Maybe okay.
Power went off.
Yes, Kashik, that's a really astute observation. Yes, so it's okay. Regardless, I'll read the verse again. But those who worship me with devotion, meditating on my transcendental form, to them I carry what they lack and preserve what they have. So those who are abhiyuktanam, fixed in devotion, and achieve yogekshamam, you have the protection of the Lord through yoga. So this is ultimately what Krishna is teaching, this bhakti yoga. Through devotion you achieve the status of yoga. And what's yoga mean? Everyone? Union, connection, a complete link. Paloma, how was India? Very good. When we got back from India, I got a text from Paloma later in the day that she was leaving for India and she saw us at the airport. So I thought that was very, very nice. But she never even came and said hello.
I said I thought I saw you did positive to confirm.
Yes, you should have just came anyway. But it's okay.
It was from a distance.
I'm just teasing. So, oh good. Michael, very good. Alright, so now, here's the story that I heard today. This is a very nice story. So there was once a Brahmin. Brahmin is a very saintly person. And Brahmins, they live by voluntary poverty. They don't strive to work and earn money. They only try to spread Vedic wisdom and help others. They're a class of people totally devoted toward sharing the welfare with others via knowledge. And so there was a Brahmin, and all he wanted to do was recite Bhagavad Gita. He very much liked Bhagavad Gita, and he was instructed by his guru to read Bhagavad Gita, and so on. So every day he would study Bhagavad Gita, and he went on, and he would just beg 1 hour a day, because you have to maintain your life in some way. So if he just studied Bhagavad Gita all alone, he would go without some food. So he would just go house to house. It's called madhukari, like a bumblebee. He would go house to house. And then he would just say, please, whatever you can spare. And I don't need much. I just need my survival. So he was a very sincere Brahmana. He did this for many years. Many years he did like this. So eventually he met a wife, a Brahmani, who is perfectly qualified, and she also married. And they lived very simply. She had one cloth, and he had one cloth, and he only wore enough. Based off the cloth she had, he just ripped a little piece off, and that's how he covered himself. And so anyhow, they're very, very simple people. So they had like a little, maybe thatched cottage. Back then you could build your own like little house, no problem, Nowadays, you got to pay big money for the plot of land and then taxes and things like that. It's really difficult to be a Brahmin in this part of Kali Yuga. But anyhow, it's still possible. Especially if you go other places in the world, land isn't as hard to come by. But here in America, it's all been bought up, and the prices keep going up too. So anyhow. So this Brahmana, he had his simple little thatched cottage with his wife, and an hour a day he'd beg, and then the rest of the day he would study Bhagavad Gita. So one day, he was doing his daily begging, and so on, but he was meditating, he was studying the Bhagavad Gita, and he came across this verse, and he really pondered on it. And so what he was doing was as he was going through Bhagavad Gita and studying it daily, he was getting a lot of realizations, and he was writing down his realizations, and he was sharing it with the public. So he would, you notice this actually. That's why Kirtanam is the next stage after Shravanam. When you've done enough hearing, or you've done a significant amount of hearing, you should actually never stop Shravanam. You should always be hearing. Harikatha is long, and this is so important in your life. If you're not going to hear Harikatha, or if you're not hearing the talks of Krishna, if you're not hearing the talks of God, then you're most certainly hearing all kinds of other things which are not going to help you. The whispers of Maya. The whispers of Maya will come through your mind. The idle mind will be the devil's playground, and be like, oh, go check out that movie, or go do this, or go do that, and next thing you know, your mind has deluded you into doing something that really wasn't for your best interest. So anyhow, this happens all the time. But when you hear Harikatha regularly, especially if somebody is sincere giving the Harikatha, it'll be replete with real knowledge, and it'll cut to pieces your ignorance. It'll actually cut to pieces your ignorance. So he was doing this. He was giving. He was instructed. He taught Bhagavad Gita, and now he was studying it himself and gaining more realization, and now he's sharing his realization. And then actually this gives him even deeper realization. By Shravanam and Kirtanam, what's the next thing that comes? Vishnu Smaranam. You'll actually be able to remember. So by first hearing and then beginning to recite what you've heard, then the trifecta of remembering becomes consecrated. It becomes solid. So like this, and now he's sharing with people. But he just really couldn't grasp this verse. This verse we're reading, he just really couldn't grasp it. He said, me and my wife, we worship the Lord every day with devotion. And we meditate on Him. But we're so poor. We don't see Him carrying what we lack. And we have pretty much nothing. Not even a mouse will come to our home. Because there's no leftover food. They beg whatever food and then they take that and that's it. So what is the preservation of what we have? What is the carrying what we lack? We lack everything. So he was feeling like this. And he actually said, he I don't know why he thought like this, but for whatever reason he thought, whoever given me this Bhagavad Gita, they must have made a mistake. Krishna could not have said this. And what he did is he scratched it out. He scratched out this verse. And he said, this cannot be. Because sometimes we don't feel like, the Lord is carrying what we lack or preserving what we have. He's seemingly taking or something else. And we might even say, I've been sincere, I've been worshipping, I've been doing this, that, and the other thing. But for why? What is the problem with me? Sometimes we may feel like that. So this Brahmana, he was feeling like this. And so he said, he scratched it out, but he said, all right, I have to go beg for today. I need to go get my daily food. So he went begging, but actually, interestingly enough, his begging didn't work today. Maybe what the Lord was carrying the begging before, but for whatever reason today, it wasn't. He went this place, that place, and there was always an excuse. A relative died, and now they're unclean. They can't give anything. This, that, and the other. He's going place to place, and they don't give anything. So he's saying, well, oh my gosh, But he doesn't want to waste all day begging. He said, all right, the Lord wants me to fast today. And then he was in his mind thinking, like, yes, another check towards my theory of the Lord not carrying what you lack. Sometimes He makes you want to have even less. Meanwhile, back at his home, his wife was, preparing everything needed, because she would eventually cook soon, and whatever home duties she was doing. And all of a sudden, this beautiful dark complexioned boy, he came with a stick, and in the stick there was like a cloth tied to the stick filled with all kinds of groceries. And he comes knocking to the door, and I forget the name, maybe one of you knows, but it's like the wife of the guru. Like Guru, maybe Ansho or something, does that make sense? What's that? No, that was not what I read. But you know what, maybe that. Let's say Guru Mata, that works. What's that? No, it wasn't what I read either. It might have been Bengali though, so I don't know. Anyhow, I heard this past name. Is that Brajesh? Yes, we have two Brajeshes here. Yes. Brajesh, come on in. It's just as much for Piyush. So, Brajesh, tell Piyush to get comfortable. Take a nice seat. So, very good. These two like to have masti with each other all the time. Yes, I learned this word, masti. Indian, like teasing and playing. So I like the word, so now I use it. So So the Brahmana, he said, oh my gosh, now we don't even get any food. Yes, my theory of the Lord not providing is definitely correct. So, but back at home, this beautiful little boy, really dark complexioned boy, you know who else is said to have a very dark complexion? Krishna, yes. Actually, some say the word Krishna even means like, dark. But anyhow, this very dark complexioned boy, he goes back to the home and he's got let's say he's saying Guravi or Guru Mata. And he's saying Guru Mata, Guru Mata. But she can't actually even come and approach him because she has such a little amount of cloth that she doesn't feel properly dressed to see the boy. So he actually handed her a shawl, his shawl, through the door. And she wrapped the shawl around her and she answered. And the boy was saying, Guruji has sent me here, Guruji has sent me here. And she's like, my husband does not have any disciples. And he says, yes, he does. I am his disciple, this, that, and the other. And so she's like amazed. He's so beautiful, like so beautiful. And she's like, oh my gosh. And he's like, yes, he sent me here with all of these items for cooking. And she's horrified because it's a giant sack of items. It's huge. And he's like a little delicate, beautiful boy. And she's like, and she's saying, and he sent you here with all this? He didn't take any himself? And anyone who's ever been married, if you do something like that and your wife sees, it's a big trouble. You don't do something like this. So anyway, so now the Brahman's in trouble because now she's seeing he dumped this giant load on the little boy and he didn't take anything himself. And so now she's mad at him. And then she's also, she helps him take it in and puts it inside, and then she sees on his back that he said, what happened to your back? You have scratches everywhere. And she said, Guruji scratched me. And that's what he said. He told her, and now she's very livid. She's like, I cannot believe him. As soon as he comes home, I'll talk to him. This is unacceptable. So, lo and behold, the Brahmin, he comes back home. And he's knocking on the door. And maybe he's saying honey on home, maybe something like that. And next thing is, his wife comes outside and she starts chastising him, as wives will do when you do not do the right things in life. So she starts chastising him. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, a little boy, I don't have any disciples. And she's like, he's right inside. He showed me exactly everything. All the stuff you gave to him. And all the scratches you put on him. How heartless are you? You talk like you're some big Brahmana and you're like this, but here you are, you don't even have mercy on a child. So then, he is so confused. He's like, all right, let me see. Let me talk to this boy. Well, there's some type of misunderstanding. But they go inside and they could not find the boy anywhere. And she's looking everywhere, they're looking everywhere, and they couldn't find the boy. And the Brahmana, he realized that the Lord came here personally today and literally carried what I was lacking, which was groceries and food for the day. And I scratched him out. He scratched out the Bhagavad Gita, remember? He scratched that verse out. And these were the scratches left on his back. So he was completely, his doubt was completely removed. And he said, look, this is definitely true. The Lord will come and carry what you lack. And so I heard that story today, and I thought that might be nice, might be inspiring. It was similar to the Jesus story, right, in the beginning, where when things get hard, there was only one set of footprints in the sand, but at that time, Jesus was carrying him. So, like that, we a lot of times, we don't notice. Like for instance, the Brahmin, every day he would go out and somehow it would be arranged he'd get enough to survive. We've always had enough. Has anyone here ever felt they have not had enough? Yeah, we probably have felt it, but is it true? Did we ever not have enough? No, of course we've had enough, or we wouldn't make it to the next day. You're still here, you're still, able to be alive, you've always had enough. The Lord has been carrying what you've lacked and preserving what you've had and what you've needed for time immemorial. But especially those who meditate on Him constantly and worship Him with devotion. Ananya chintayanta mam, always concentrating on Him. That's the main teaching of bhakti. Manmana bhava mad bhakto. Always think of me with love. But we don't have sufficient faith actually. So we have to make all kinds of other arrangements for ourselves. All right, I can't trust that if I just do my devotional activities, so let me arrange this stream of income over here, maybe another stream of income over here, and let me arrange for my protection through this thing, that thing, and the other thing. And then we spend all of our time doing like that. And then what time is there left for chintayanto mam, any concentration of the Lord? Maybe, some people recommend 1 hour a week on the weekend. So maybe some people come here 2 hours a week or 1.5 or 1, depending on how late you come. But actually, he says, Yeyatam mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyaham in 4:11. As all surrender me, I reward them accordingly. So the more you concentrate and give to the Lord, He will give you everything you need. And even if you're like a brahmana and you have nothing left, maybe just a wife at home, a few pieces of cloth, and every day somehow you have enough food and a shelter over your head, it's still the great mercy the Lord has given you enough. I mean, if this brahmana can spend 1 hour a day begging, that's his work, and then the rest he gets to study Bhagavad Gita, that's a good life, actually. That's a good life. Many of us may not have very much time at all to study Bhagavad Gita. Right? Does anyone feel that? Oh my gosh. Tell me all the time, I try and give people Bhagavad Gita. You say, hey, I have no time. Why? Because they've arranged their life in such a way that they can have no time. Because they prioritize so many other things in life. Oh, I've got no time for the Lord. I have no time for Bhagavad Gita. But anyhow, it doesn't have to be that way. We all choose what we do with our life. Yes, sometimes there's some circumstances. Like, I know a lot of you are Indian national students. And so the government of the USA puts some certain restrictions on you, where you will have less time than the average person. Due to you have to fulfill your government requirements, lest you'll be removed from this country at least. But, while we're here, no matter what circumstances we have, what bit of time can we give to the Lord? That we should understand that. And to those who do that, and to those who fully do that, ananyas chintayanto mam, they're always concentrating on the Lord. They have nothing else. Ananya bhakti, there's nothing else they're focusing on. And actually, they might just get the Lord Himself, because they've given up everything else. As he says in the other verse, Yeyatamam prapadyante, right? As if you've surrendered everything for the Lord, He'll have to give you everything, which is Himself. So, and I've seen this. We had a nice, funny conversation the other day. Michael you've seen Michael, he was doing the arati. I don't know what he's doing right now. Oh, Michael is listening. See, the class is for you, Michael. We were making a joke that the class wasn't for him today. But, so yeah, Michael, he left his job this week. And so, my mother-in-law also was here simultaneously this week. And she found out that we had convinced Michael to do such a thing. And she was not happy with us, and nor she was happy with Michael. And I had to go somewhere, and we were all talking about it. But when I was gone, she chastised Michael, and she chastised my wife a little bit about, and she was noticing something actually very nice. And she was saying, haven't you seen all the other devotees? I've been to the temple, because she came to the temple a few times. They all have nice cars, they all have nice jobs, they all have this, that, and the other thing. So why are you going to be like these crazy people who like stopped working and doing this, that, and the other thing? And so she was chastising Michael, and Michael, I think, was trying to explain something like this to her, but it wasn't going to, for whatever reason. But no problem. But actually, this is the Lord's promise. If you solely and wholly focus on Him, actually you'll have everything. And all we're really missing in life is just faith. That's the only thing that there's scarcity of, is our faith in the Lord. Everything else is there. Everything else is there. You always have had enough. You'll always have enough in the future. There's no lack or scarcity. Yes, maybe your greeds of what you want your life to be right now, it can't be satisfied. But that's always like that. Gandhi famously said, there's enough on this world for every man's need. But there's not enough in this world for what? One man's greed. So yes, you'll never have what you're greedy for. Or, maybe you will, but then you'll be greedy for something else, and then again you'll be back in the same condition. So that's what it is. It's just, if we really evaluate, we already have enough. But what do we have, what are we really lacking? Is just faith. Just faith in Krishna. That this is enough, this is where I'm supposed to be, everything is good like this. And if we really wholly and solely focused on the Lord, that's the ultimate idea of what we should be doing. But, it's difficult. The mind will give you 10,000 reasons why you need to do this, that, and the other thing, and why you have no time for the Lord. But it actually has nothing to do with the circumstances, other than the fact that you believe the many reasons the mind is telling you rather than the Lord Himself. Is it not? You all have time. We all have time. Yes, some of us have a little bit of, a little bit more pressure than others. Like the Indian national students. If you don't fulfill certain requirements, the government will literally kick you out of the country, and you have to deal with whatever that is. Some of you have family members, you have to provide for your families, and so on. Some of you have big desires, and you have to, do all the things to meet the requirements of your desires. Fine. But give something. And give a little more, and then a little more, and a little more. And just keep increasing your capacity. Those in knowledge, you'll know, this is what I should be doing. Those who have, because with knowledge they'll have sufficient faith. Those of you who need a little reminder, that's my job. Just to give a little reminder, hey, all these other things, they're temporary, they'll actually never give any lasting satisfaction. But this is the thing that will give a forever satisfaction. So don't think you don't have time. Everyone has some time. And if you don't have time, you need more time. What is they used to say? There was a Zen master, and he was trying to preach meditation to people. And he was saying everyone should meditate for at least 15 minutes a day. But if you don't have time, then you need to meditate for an hour a day. Because you need to work out more time working out the mental obstacles that are making you believe you don't have time. So like that, same thing. Give some time to the Lord every day. If you don't feel like you need time, then you need even more time for the Lord. Maybe you need to quadruple your Bhagavad Gita study. So no problem. I'm going to end here, because there's a couple more things I want to do with the program today. So any questions? I don't know, when you came back, did I tell you, do you guys remember what I said my most captivating lesson was in India? Anyone remember? It was 3 ways to get mercy. Yes, finding, that's ideal. You can find a spiritual master. They're rare. But if you can find a spiritual master and you have access to a spiritual master, wonderful. But yes, becoming humble to those who might be able to help us, those who have some spiritual realization. And then the second one? And what's that? The process of what? Yeah, asking questions. If you have doubts in your heart, in order to relieve them, they need to come out with the questions. That's why Bhagavad Gita came. Arjuna had doubts and he was asking. Even this Brahmin got all kinds of mercy because he had doubts and Krishna had to come and prove his doubts. So like this. And then the last one is what? And seva, yes, doing service. So anyway, now I'll try again. Is there any questions? No questions? I understand. You must feel I have nothing positive to give. No problem. Okay. So what we're going to do? Are you sure? No questions? Yeah. Oh, we got 2 people now. Okay.
I was wondering, when he says my transcendental form, is he referring to a specific form, or what does he mean by that?
That's a good question. Well, let's look at the actual verse. So I think it's Ananya Chintayanto Mam. So Mam means unto me, and Krishna is the speaker, so me would refer to him in his form of Krishna. So that being said, I'm sure it would hold just as true to a Ram Bhakta. I'm sure it would hold just as true to a Nrsimha Bhakta, or even a Shiva Bhakta. But yes, I mean, the speaker of the Bhagavad Gita, Mam, in Chintayanta, concentrating on him, it would be on him, that very speaker. But there are different layers of that, right? There are the different rasas in which one can associate. So there's the Shanta Bhaktas, the Dasya Bhaktas, and so on, up to the conjugal Bhaktas. So, Kashik, in 1 second, okay? I love the enthusiasm, though. That's very nice. So it depends on the relationship and how you meditate on him. Like in the beginning, I used to meditate on Krishna in like the universal form, because I came from a Judeo-Christian background, and to me that was the almighty, all-powerful form, was like this all-powerful, almighty God who's spanning everywhere at all times, and but still, that will work, But there's nuance to sweeter levels of Krishna. So, how do you like to meditate on Krishna? You like him on Jagannath. Do you know what Jagannath is focusing on?
He is Krishna.
Yes. Do you know how he got to be in the Jagannath form? So he's having Ashta Sattvic Bhavs, thinking of what, hearing of what? In Vrindavan. So yes, you can see like that. If you meditate on Jagannath like that, and then it'll help you meditate on what he's meditating on. So like that. But I don't think it matters so much. Just that you're focusing on him, and however you connect to him, that's good enough. And just like in the beginning, I was focusing on the universal form, and now I have no interest in meditating on Krishna in that way. So like that, the way that you associate with Krishna may evolve, but that comes with time and practice. Good? Okay, Kashik, I'm going to cut you, Peter. Yes? Yes?
How was your India trip?
How was my India trip? That's a very good question, actually. Very good, Kashik. It was very nice, and I actually had a really fun time being a student. And I really enjoyed being able to listen and actually not have much opportunity to speak, but to just be immersed in listening and hearing and gathering information and actually gathering, a really good association from saintly people. So I would say it was really good, Kashik. And I stayed healthy for the first time ever in India. Ever. So that's an A+. True. Except we almost didn't make it back. The flight people almost didn't let us on the
Going
plane.
back on March 9th?
We were back by March 9th. We came back on March 5th, but we got here back by March 9th. Were you here on March 9th?
No, because I was wow.
Oh, I see.
My neck was hurting.
That's okay. But yeah, I'm glad you're back now. But thank you for asking.
Yeah. And thank you, Rama.
You're very welcome, Kashik. Thank you. Kashik mopped the floor today, by the way. Really nicely. He's got the Seva spirit. He's got the Seva spirit. So, Peter.
I was just going to ask how we can be more sincere when we chant the Maha Mantra.
Well, that's a really, really good question. Well, it helps to know what the mantra means. You know, if you don't know what it means, then it's a little difficult. You know, I'm just mumbling these syllables. But if you actually understand who you're referring to when you're saying Hare, who you're referring to when you're saying Krishna, what the word Krishna means, how you're acknowledging Krishna. Krishna is Krishna's name, but Krishna means something. It was a kind of like a nickname, an endearing name given to pretty much the most beautiful one, most beautiful one. So like that, then we'll get there. Understanding what the mantra means is helpful. What personalities you're referring to. When you also become more familiar with Krishna and let's say Radha via Hare, also when you hear their pastimes, you'll naturally remember them more, and in these intricate ways that you've heard that will only come through hearing. So the more hearing you do about the Lord, it will enhance your Maha Mantra significantly. A couple other little tips. Have this Chintayanta process very concentrated when you do it. There's 10 offenses to the holy names. We chant them in the morning. If you look up those offenses, don't do that, and you'll naturally be at a sincere level. If you're not doing that, you're at a very good level. But right now, we're probably doing the offenses to some level or another. So we should try to avoid the offenses. What else can I say? Don't rush. Sometimes we can, rushing kind of causes the offense. We're not really appreciating the mantra. We're not really appreciating the Lord. We're just like, I gotta hit my number, or I gotta, so like this. I forget, there's a verse in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. It actually has 6 things that you should do. I mentioned 2 of them. Remember we used to chant that in the morning at one point? But I lost. Anyhow, if you look up that in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, it'll tell you exactly how to chant japa. And it's very good. But yeah, for as far as I know, the main thing is to not make the offenses. To understand the offenses and not make them. And then naturally your chanting will at least be it won't be on a really bad level of offensive, and it could be closer to pure. So, yeah, that's one thing. And then, last one.
If I just might add, it's actually related to Peter, and I've had this question a lot, and I had advice given to me that was really helpful.
Yes.
Basically, Krishna sees everything, your insincerity as well. And so if you're in a relationship with Krishna and you're upfront about that insincerity and you're sincere about wanting to improve on it, he will see that and he will adjust accordingly. Because if you're pretending to be more sincere than you are, he will see that as well. So if you're very much clear about where you're at with Krishna, even if there is insincerity, if the goal is to end up in a more sincere place, he will see that as well.
Yes.
And that's just been helpful for me.
Yes, absolutely. If you want to be more sincere, he will reveal to you. I mean, what's this verse? Tesham satata yuktanam bhajantam pritipurvakam dadami buddhiyogam tam yenamam upayanti te. Those who are desiring Krishna's mercy, which, maybe to become more sincere, anything like that, they are always engaged in his devotional service, because that's what a sincere person does, or at least a striving to be a sincere person. And in doing that, they're always worshiping him with love and affection, actually maybe even with loving ecstasy is what Priti Purvakam means. And then Didami Buddhi Yogam Tam, he will give them real intelligence. This is 10:10 of the Bhagavad Gita. He'll give you the intelligence by which you can come to him. So you just worship him with devotional service and he will give you that intelligence. But the sincere element is to be, as Ben was saying, to be sincere with where you are, and from where you are, do the best you can. And if you do the best you can, he will give you the intelligence about how to come to him. But not until you do that first. So, and he's doing that, actually. Whatever intelligence, there's another verse, 15:15 of the Bhagavad Gita. I can only summarize, or paraphrase. But he gives you the knowledge in life, but he also gives you the forgetfulness as well. Like when we're insincere, he'll bewilder you. And you'll be like, how the heck did I miss that? It's only Krishna could have made me miss like that. Because why is it's also a response to maybe a place that we were maybe insincere. And actually our consciousness oftentimes, because if we are insincere, it's focused on this thing rather than Krishna, and then naturally we make so many mistakes in that place. So just the goal is those who are always satatam yuktanam, always engaged in bhajantam, or worship, or devotional service, with love, he will give the intelligence by which you can come to him. That's his guarantee. But yeah, acknowledge where you're at, and then just say, okay, here's my plan. I'm gonna give this. This is what I can give, and then do that, and you'll see. He will give you the intelligence to go deeper. I've seen it. Some people. I was giving this example the other day. We were talking about this verse, and Craig was here. It's 1:08. Nice time to talk about this. But I was noticing with Michael, like when Michael first started coming here, he was raw. He only read a few books and things like that. But he was really sincere. He wanted Krishna, and he wanted to do more and more and more and more. And I've seen that Krishna is giving him sufficient intelligence to go deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. In even just 1 year's time. And he barely knew, he knew something, but he didn't know that much a year ago. But just in 1 year's time, he was able to make a tremendous amount of advancement, just because he wanted to keep going, and any way he could, he'll render service. You probably see him. He's always like, oh, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do this. And that's the proper attitude, actually. And so, if he keeps doing like that, he'll be very blessed. But if you keep doing like that, you'll all be blessed. Everyone. This is a Krishna's guarantee. So is that helpful? Okay. I have to stop us now. What we're going to do now is we're going to have a Nrsimha prayer. I would normally say Adya lead the Nrsimha prayer, but what we're going to do is we're going to all chant it together, and it's not going to be your traditional kirtan. It will go into a traditional kirtan, and maybe we'll have Parth lead. And then what we'll do is we're going to shut the deities, and then we're going to end doing a Tulsi puja. And we're all going to do a ceremonial watering of Tulsi, circumambulate her, because that will cleanse us of all of our sins. So that's a very nice thing to do. And also we're going to sing all the bhajans, first in Sanskrit or Bengali, and then in English. This really nice, one of the really nice things, Kaushik asked a nice question, what did I do in India, is we got to connect with Kalakanta Prabhu. And Kalakanta Prabhu, he was the one who actually inspired this project that we're doing here right now. He started the Krishna houses out of Gainesville, Florida. And so we spent some time, and he really encouraged us, almost by force, by giving us these books in which he actually compiled the English kind of equivalents of all of the bhajans that we sing. And it's been my personal ecstasy actually to sing them in English. It's like a whole new level because English is a much more understandable language for myself than say Bengali or Sanskrit. And actually, but I know a lot of Indians may feel the same, that by singing in English it may be more, you might be more at home than say singing in Sanskrit. So anyway, we'll do like that. But first, what I think we'll do is maybe, David, do we have the photos of the ashram group chat?
If you want, I can send you the in messages and you can pull it up.
If you send me it right now in messages, we can do it. Okay. All right. Michael, did you send?
1 second.
And do the Tulsi as well.
It's just one PDF and it has both.
All of them, okay. Hopefully I can.
I sent it.
All right, here it is. Oh, how does that work? Aha, can you all see this?
You can,
Yeah, maybe I can expand it. It won't let me. Oh. Okay. So Meghna, I'm gonna have you. You're gonna do this part again. I will end the